Welcome to this incredible in-depth course about CapCut PC. In this course, you will learn everything regarding CapCut. In the first two lessons, you will learn everything regarding the basic features, such as the basic panels and stuff like that. In the next features, we will jump right away into practice, creating shorts, and explaining everything while I'm creating stuff so that you can see the creative process. And I'm not a big fan of theory, but for the first two lessons, I will have to explain the most basic tools. Otherwise, I can't really speak the CapCut language with you. Let's get straight into it. First, let's start on installing this software. If you already have it installed, you can skip to the number that is on your screen. Otherwise, you go on the search bar on Google and you either copy and paste this, or you check the Word document that is in the attached file in this course, and in the Word document you will find the exact steps to install the video editing software and the links. So we hit enter and we are now on the CapCut interface. Now we can either click download for Windows, or if you have Mac, you go up here, download for Windows/Mac, or for mobile if you're from mobile. You can also go in the Microsoft Store. Once you're on Microsoft Store, you search CapCut and you're right here, you find it, click it, and it's free. Once you've completed the installation, you will be greeted with this interface. I highly suggest you to log in right here. You can log in with Google, Facebook, whatever you want, email. I logged in with Google so that I now have some spaces that I can use to upload files, and this is a good feature that allows us to work directly on timelines without needing to every time, export the video and then upload it on Google Drive, download for Google Drive, and then edit it and re-upload to Google Drive. Long process. Meanwhile, with this space feature, it's really easy. You can invite whoever you want. You just click here, you copy and paste this link, and then you upload other projects that you have or medias, which means assets, images, videos, stuff like that. Now we go back to the home here. And to start a new project, we are going to simply click on New Project. Once you start a new project, the first thing that you need to do is on top, you see this number, which is the month of the creation of the project and the day. I highly suggest you to change this to whatever you prefer, because once you will start to have 10, 20, 30 projects, it's going to be hard to remember which one is which if they're all named 2021, 2022, 2023, stuff like that. Once we have done that, let's look at the panels that we are presented with. So the first thing that we will do is analyze how the media panel works, which is the first one. So the first thing that we can do is click on import. I've chosen the clip that I want to add. This is a 47-minute from Alex Hormozi, which is a guy that talks about business. And in this course, we're going to edit a part of that video in order to gain some practice. Before getting too specific, let's talk about the timeline, which is this panel right here, the one below. To show you how to use this, I will first drag this clip right here. And this is how it works. So the first thing that we have is 4 kind of tools, which is select, split, select leftward and rightward. Right now we are on select, which is the normal mouse icon. And what this basically allows to do is to drag the stuff around. As you can see right here, I just select the stuff and move it. The splitting tool allows you to split the clips in different parts. And then if you want, you can go back to the select tool and move it around as you prefer. And then we have the select leftward, which means that it selects all the clip on the left from where I clicked, or the select rightward, which does the same thing but for the right, as you can see. Now, out of these tools, the only tool that I personally use is select and sometimes split, but it's really rare. Because what you can do, instead of having to switch and then switch back to the tool every time, you can use a shortcut, which is Control B. And what Control B does is splitting your clip, as you can see. I highly suggest you to learn Control B. Then we have undo and redo, which I highly suggest you to learn as well, because the amount of time that you just click backspace on accident is a lot. And since you don't want to ruin everything that you have done, you just click Control Z, or you can click the arrow, same thing. I highly suggest you to learn Control Z, and boom, everything is back to normal. And the things that I suggest to learn are Control B and Control Z, because they will help you a lot. there is now another set of tools. So how do we use it? As you can see, there is the split tool, but as I remember you can simply learn to click Ctrl B and you will never have to reach out for these tools every time you have to split a clip. Then there is delete left, which, let's say for example, I'm at this frame, okay, when Ormozy is looking to the left. If I click delete left, it deletes the whole first part. And if I go at the start, as you can see, we can find the frame where Ormozy was looking to the left. And then there is delete right, which does the same thing, but for the right. Then there is delete, which deletes the whole clip. And for that, you can simply learn to use backspace, as it is really fast to delete clips with backspace. And then you have another 5 tools, which allows you to create a still frame of the image, as you can see. Then there is reverse, which reverses the whole clip from the last second to the first second. Then there is mirror, pay attention to the clip so you can see what happens. It's as simple as that. Then there is rotate, which allows you to rotate by 90 degrees. And then crop. If you crop, you can choose how much of the image you want to show. For example, like this. And then there is a pro feature, which is remove filler words, but it doesn't really affect us much. And now let's finish talking about the timeline. There are 3 useful tools right here on the left. The first one is lock track, which allows you to lock everything that happens on the track. So you cannot delete it, you cannot move it, you cannot do anything to this track. Then there is hide track, which basically hides audio and video of the track. And then there is mute clip audio, which allows you to show the clip but mute the audio. And to finish off the timeline, there are another set of tools right here. The first one is record. If you want, you can click record, click this red button, and you will be able to record your voiceover directly in the editing software, the whole video. If you want, there is also an echo reduction box, which you can turn on to avoid echo, basically. Then there are another 4 tools. Let's start from the first one, track magnet. On CapCut, there are 2 types of timelines. The first one is this one below. Let me put a video there. This is the main timeline. It's always the lowest timeline, okay? There is no such a thing as a timeline lower than that one. As you can see, I'm trying to move it below, but it doesn't happen. Another characteristic of the main timeline is that it is always on the background. So if you put a video on top, you will not be able to see the thing below. Going back to the track magnet, here's why this information is useful. When the track magnet is on, so it is blue, if I put a video on the main timeline, doesn't matter where I put it, it is always going to be close to the first one. As you can see, I'm trying to put it here, but it just gets warped. Instead, if I remove this feature, I can put my videos wherever I want. If I turn it on again, boom, everything goes together. The second feature here is auto-snapping. Whenever auto-snapping is not on, I am never sure if the clips are close to each other. So for example, let's say I move this clip close. As you can see, they look like they're together. But if I zoom in, there is a black hole here. And we don't want that. That's why we turn on auto-snapping, which allows you to snap. You see, it creates that blue line that makes you understand that the clips are now aligned. Then we have turn on or off linkage. Linkage is the ability to link either clips or audio to a certain clip. And I usually suggest to have this off. And here's why. If I remove this clip, I don't necessarily want this text to go out because maybe I need it for something else. So if the linkage is off and I remove the clip, the text remains. Instead, if I turn on linkage and I remove the clip, the text is going to disappear, as you can see. So I usually leave this off because I don't like the idea of text disappearing with my video. And then we move on to preview axis. With preview axis on, as I scrub through the timeline, as you can see, the video is moving on top of the player panel. Instead, if I turn this off, the yellow line disappears and no video is shown. And this is a really good feature, although if you have a really bad hardware, a really bad PC like me, once you start to add color correction, transitions, effects, text, audios, everything, and the project starts to become big, I suggest to turn this off as it makes you lag, but you will figure it out on your own. Don't worry about it. And then we move on to the player panel. In the player panel, if I click play, you're going to see everything that is happening on the screen. You can also choose how much you want to zoom in or zoom out, the ratio. So this is, for example, for a long form video, this is for a short video. You can even do customized if you want. You can click here and go full screen. And then you can also click on the burger bar where you get 3 options. The first one is the color oscillop, which I don't suggest you to use because it is really advanced and it doesn't give you that useful of an information anyway. Then we have preview quality, and you can choose between 2. The first one being smoothness and the second one being screen resolution. I usually go for performance priority as I'd rather the clip be smooth. And then we have export still frame, which if I click will allow me to take a screenshot of this little screen here and save it in whatever folder I want. Then we have our inspector panel, which is extremely useful, but we're going to talk about it in the next lesson.